Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. It's been several months since I actually did a rant video. And before I get to the topic at hand, the reason why I haven't been posting a lot of rant videos in the past, because I was waiting to see further results, and I haven't been getting a lot of replies. I want to see how they would progress. And I'll admit, a lot of the videos I do post are simply based on my point of view, my opinion, and how I feel, and what I've been through based on experience and what I witnessed. And not everything you could take is supposed to be like the correct answer. But for you guys to understand, maybe if there's anything you can say, I would rather appreciate feedback, whether it be positive or negative. And what could I do to make improvements? What could I do to adjust myself in that situation and try to resolve the problem? So I already said enough about why I'm like my previous videos, why I've been posting them, but let's get straight to the topic. So I am a seller, but the whole point of this, I personally don't like selling on eBay or TCG Player. I literally mean online. I don't like selling online with I sell online, but I personally don't want to sell my own personal stuff. There's a reason why, because I've sold the stuff that I sold online was not personal stuff. It was basically custom clothes, whether it's been on Redbubble, which my account was deleted, it was terminated, because I was posting a lot and I was following a lot of people. So I'm gonna admit my mistake on that. But I usually when I sell online, it's usually like product that I customize rather than having to pay shipping. I don't have to pay anything once I make the product. But one thing some people don't realize that who are trying to get into selling is that they do take a cut of your price. They take a cut of your product. Anything that you sell, you have to provide to the that business, to that organization, whether it be eBay. I'm just gonna give some popular names, whether it be eBay, Amazon, TCG Player, anything that involves online when you're marketing, because they are the ones that own the websites. And for me, it just seems unfair. The stuff that you are providing, considering it is your personal item, you have to share the owner of the website, the people who manage their business. I understand that like they have to make some cut in order to keep their business alive, but this most of the time it is putting you like below standards. And what I mean below standards is that you're suffering more, you're taking a huge amount of loss of income, and these organizations, these businesses don't care about the sellers that are like signed up, that are registered with their business. And that to me is just a flaw, because if anything, they're holding you back. That's what they would be doing. I've never sold on eBay. I've had people who've told me their experience by selling, especially on eBay, that chances are if you have to provide tracking. If you don't provide tracking, if the buyer were to say that you lost the item or claim that the item wasn't shipped, then you lose everything. eBay will try to investigate, and they don't. If they find that you haven't provided tracking, all that money that you put into, all that hard work, all that shipping, whether it be packaging, stamps, transportation, that's all gone to waste. And that's why I'm not taking that risk, honestly. You have ways. If the best way to make money is just sell like in person, honestly, because there's things you have to keep account for when you're selling online, especially eBay. They do take a cut of that item, whether it be 10%, 5. That may not be the accurate percentage. It could be more, be depending how much money they need in order to keep their business alive. And for what it's worth, it's only if you're willing to take the risk. Selling online is always going to be a risk regardless of where you're going, unless you own the website yourself. And I'm 100% against selling online because the idea of having to pay extra. And what I mean extra, whether it be taxes. The worst part is you have to pay shipping. When you include shipping, you may not be making more. You're actually going to end up making way less, depending how much your item costs, especially if you're selling singles. Singles that cost around $5 to $10, you're not going to make full value. I feel like you're going to make like close to half of what that card's worth. Just around half, maybe 60 or 50%. So in order to make money, you got to sell something that's worth a lot. Trading cards aren't going to make you money online. They may make you money in person, but online isn't the way to go. It's just because like people are suggesting Facebook, but the only issue I have with Facebook is that they expect you to provide a lot of personal information. And TCG Player may be the place to go, but again, I'm not telling people what to do. It all depends on you. But also, Facebook, if you're in a Facebook group, some people have recommended that to me to try and make connections. And they have cards that they're possibly looking for, whether the cards you have may be worth money. But who knows whether they're going to honor the value? They want the cards, but does not mean they're going to be willing to pay the value. And it's a waste of time if you think about it. It's good to find people on Facebook, but there's also a risk you're also providing your personal information. If anything, some people just want your personal information just to take advantage of you. They might not want the card. They might want. I don't want to go into like further assumptions, whether it might be to rob you or to waste your time, or just to make you show up and then they don't arrive at the same time. They make you sit for an hour and a half, or they never show up, and then you try calling and then they don't pick up, they don't respond. Just imagine the amount of time wasted. So yeah, sometimes meeting people on Facebook is also a risk too, because people are waiting for a card that you have, which whether they want to, they can't buy on eBay if they're just willing to buy in person. But sometimes people aren't willing to honor it. They could just be there to troll you. They could, like I said, not everyone on Facebook that's looking for specific trading cards is willing to honor the meetup as well as paying for the actual value. Because I feel, to me, not only am I taking the risk of providing my personal information, I'm also taking the risk of wasting several amounts of my time in life. So who knows? Maybe an hour, maybe take some hours, but I want to know I want to know whether they actually are going to arrive on time, or whether it's confirmed they're showing up. Because the only way I can do that, unless I track their location, but I'm not going to do that unless there's a way of tracing people. Unless there is a somewhere in the future like a device where you can actually trace people's location. I mean their footsteps, where they're going, where they're headed, where they are, or where they're going. Maybe it'll make life easier. But that's the point I'm trying to make, is that it is very time consuming. I tell you, it's very tedious because you always got to find the right people, because the people on Facebook are not always the right people. Sometimes it's best to go to your local store, go to a place where you usually hang out with friends, whether it may be at the mall, or again local card store. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, if I feel a card's gonna get hit, if I feel my trading cards are not worth value, and I have a hunch that it's gonna get reprinted, I have no problem selling my local game store. As it all depends. If I manage to make the most out of it, or if I literally realize I don't really need the card, it's just sitting in my binder doing nothing, and it holds no value to me, best believe I'm gonna sell my local game store. And sometimes, like, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh cards is that they drop heavily, they plummet fast. And sometimes it's best you do so. You get rid of the card. You get rid of the cards ASAP before they drop even further, because Yu-Gi-Oh tarot cards tend to be expensive. And although this rant is usually about selling on eBay and TCG Player, but this is just based on what I feel about, like, especially because for those trying to garner money, I can tell you now, you're not going to make money on eBay selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards unless like you sell other stuff, dude. The only way you make more money, unless you're selling a bunch of electronics, whether it be a PS5, Nintendo Switch, game consoles, computers, cell phones, those can 100% make you tons of money on eBay, especially if you're a consistent seller. But I can tell you now, the reason why there are a lot of people selling their trading cards, a lot of them tend to be vendors. They own their own local card store. So for them, they've fully found the proper like practice that they did. They figured a way to actually like do the method when it comes to selling. Ensure that before they decide to start marketing on eBay, they make sure to have all the as many envelopes as possible, letters, stamps, all of that, instead of just buying it the moment they sell something, because they ensure that they have all those stuff prepared before they start selling singles. And a lot of times when people do sell on eBay, they'll sometimes increase the value of the cards when they're not supposed to be worth that much. But that's their way of letting them know that they are having to pay for cuts, having to pay for fees, having to pay for shipping. So that comes along as them trying to make sure that they can make some sort of amount of money to gain the value that they're making based on that purchase, because they realize they're not going to make full value, so they might as well up the price a bit since they're having to pay extra for the little stuff. For the extra charges, whether, like I said, shipping fees, taxes, tracking, and all those come to play is why they overprice certain cards or certain items. And they feel it is necessary because eBay or whatever online marketing site isn't being fair to them and it's clearly holding them back. And that's the reason behind it, too. There's nothing you can say to get around that. So whether I would sell online, I said before, I do sell online, but I would never put my personal stuff at risk because chances are I'm not going to make anything. Um, eBay is not going to be on my favor. A lot of these online sites are going to be in favor. The only time the site is going to be on my favor, unless I own the site. That's just my personal opinion. I'm just giving my honest advice right now. But it's your choice, you guys. You can decide what you want to do with your belongings. Sell online if you have to. But me, I would not take the risk. Someone else can be the scapegoat for me. So if they're willing to try, if they watch this video and see whether like to try it out and test the waters, see what it's like. Hopefully they can they'd be willing to take the chance, but they don't have an issue with it. That's on them. So, but again, this video is for you guys to suggest for your future. This is not me telling you what to do. I'm not gonna follow this path either way because I have ways of selling online. I just don't feel the need to just get rid of stuff that I value because chances are I feel like it's not gonna be in my favor and I'm gonna regret it by a long shot for sure. But there are people who are out there to be the scapegoat. They can be my guest. But take this as a learning situation and let it help you give you ideas. Whether you plan on taking this route or if you plan to dismiss it. But overall, that's all I have to say, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.